It was cold. Outside it was chilled enough to keep an old lady's groceries fresh for a week. Everything was dead or dying, and no one had time enough to care. In a business sense, the forecast read freezing rain. I hadn't had a job in what seemed like months that didn't entail some old broad suspecting unfaithfulness in her husband. Sometimes she was right, sometimes she was wrong. Jobs like this made dole seem desirable, but they paid the bills. Usually things weren't so bad, but people were afraid these days. Like mice, they were always out looking for the cheese, but when the big cat shows up, they scatter. When the dame showed up, I didn't expect much. Undoubtedly another husband just taking a bit too long to get home from work, or one too many late-night business meetings. And she gave me this look, and in the next 15 minutes described a tale of woe that would have broken the heart of a tin soldier. In the end, she was dry, but her soul was dead.
This man, Mr. MacGuffin, he has a briefcase that belonged to my late husband. It contains some things, trivial to anyone else, but of great sentimental value to me. I would pay a high price to have it returned.
I'd heard the name MacGuffin before. He was a mobster, and he had spit in the face of every lawman in town. Rumor had it he was untouchable. I suspect that was because no one had ever tried. All right, lady. I'm on the case. The painting was a rose, but I smelled something rotten. In all likelihood, there was more to the story than the dame had let on. Still, a job is a job, and any man in town would jump at the chance to gain leverage against MacGuffin. And I'm not just any man. I'm Tracer Dark, private investigator. The first thing to do was to find out more information. MacGuffin's goons lurked the city like zombies, and I figured one of them might lead me to the right place.
What's going on down here? Trailing what little business. I brought him back here for you to deal with. Well, look at what the cat dragged in for dinner. How are you doing? Good? Well, that's good because, you are held captive down here in the basement. I have your things, but you cannot reach them. And, it seems to me a lesson needs to be taught here. Because, my man says that he saw you following him down by the tracks. Now see, that right there, that's a problem for me.
Life doesn't always go the way you want it to. Some days you wake up in a basement of a psychotic killer who's decided that your body is as good a golf ball as anything else.
My job here is just to simply make sure it doesn't happen again.
This one's for Parr.
He's unconscious. We'll keep him alive so I can torture him when I'm not so exhausted.
Are you alright?
I'm fine.
What's so funny?
Usually I'm the one getting my clients out of trouble, not the other way around. It was strange that the dame showed up. Usually clients come to me because they can't take care of things themselves, but I didn't have time to work that out. I had to get the briefcase she wanted into my hands. I could take steps from there. It helped to know the right people.
What do you know about MacGuffin?
I don't know nothing.
You know. All right, jeez, man. MacGuffin's worried. Something about a new crime lord moving in on his territory. I heard some guys talking. Something important's being kept in a secret place.
A briefcase?
Yeah, something, man.
Where?
I don't know.
Give it to me straight. You know where.
All right, geez, trying not to break a man's back. Some lockers down by the train station. I don't know nothing else, honest.
What about this new crime boss?
No one knows nothing. Perry. No first name. That's all I got.
Yeah. It was enough. I put aside my worries about the new guy. I didn't want him or MacGuffin to have the case, whatever was in it. A quick phone call with the right words and the right voice can be just enough to scare a man. And when a man gets scared, there's always one thing he'll do first. Check his treasures to make sure they're safe. I set out the bait. Now he has to bite. An inconspicuous move. MacGuffin himself and just one other man. Whatever it was, this case was important enough for him to come down. Why he let himself be so vulnerable, I'll never know. Maybe he thought he could sneak by. Maybe he suspected he was being allured away for an attack on his crab hole. Maybe he really believed he was invincible. Today wasn't gonna be his lucky day. I swear I would have shot the man right where he stood if I hadn't realized my own gun was missing. Look at what the cat dragged in.
You've got nothing on me. You'd be a fool to try something here, Dark.
I know enough that you should be afraid. You got me. There was a certain poetic justice to it this way. I had the case. It was time to set up a meeting, but I got the feeling that there was more going on. Either the dame had no clue what her husband was into, or she was playing her own game. I had to lure the right pieces out into the open. The problem? I'm the only piece on my side of the board.
Too easy, Tracer Dark.
All bets were off. The cards had been dealt, and there were no tricks left to play.
Miss Perry, I presume.
Almost impressive, Mr. Dark, but it's too late. The game is over. The city is mine. No one can stop me.
It was clear as day what she had done. MacGuffin was already out of the picture. She'd probably murdered him with my own gun, licensed and registered. The gun would be at the crime scene, a perfect picture of what happened to any cop who didn't care to dig any deeper. She would have everything she wanted.
You wouldn't shoot me. You're one of those old-fashioned types who still lives by a code of honor.
Jim, my old partner, back when I was on the force. I told him the story, but left myself out of it. He saw through it like cigarette smoke, but there was nothing he would do about it.
So that's your story then?
Yeah.
Dark, you never could follow the rules.
Rules turn a good man into a dead man. And I prefer to live.
Don't you want to see what's in the briefcase?
I want to see something worth killing for.